Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hey, hello, my name is Life. On this channel, we help to bridge the gap between neuroscience and spirituality. We focus on how the mind works so we can purposely create our own reality. Now, on this particular live stream, we are doing um, an overview of chapter 3, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. We have been going over this book chapter by chapter, just doing a brief, sometimes not so brief, overview of the chapter and what it entails, what Dr. Joe Dispenza is talking about. Such an amazing read this book is. Hey, Frugal, welcome in, sis. So glad to have you guys showing up and being part of the live. Now, this chapter 3, is kind of a long chapter, so we're just going to dive right in um, and get it going. Chapter 3 of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he says it's how to lose your mind and create a new one. Frugal, did you ever get your book from Amazon? They said they delivered it, but I don't think I ever really confirmed that with you. So let me know, sis. So let's talk about it. So chapter 1, let's just do a super brief overview. Chapter 1 was mainly about explaining the fact that everything is energy. All things, all people, everything is actually energy and carries a vibration, right? And then chapter 2 was all about overcoming your environment, overcoming your circumstances, and things like that. King Morgan, thank you so much for coming in, Ty. I appreciate you. Welcome in, fam. Pop Rocks, my baby girl, thank you so much for coming in. That's my daughter, you guys. I get so happy when I see my baby. And then chapter 3 is going into overcoming your body. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start to. Hold on. Let's just get right into it. Hold on, guys. Technical difficulties, real quick. There we go. All right, I'm back. Okay, we don't need the phone in there. There you go. Yeah, that's my baby. Okay, so don't distract me, kid. All right, overcoming the body. So let's talk about this. So let's begin reading. We're on page 53. And Frugal, I don't know if you heard me. Let me know if you got your book, because I really want to make sure if I have time to get a refund and reorder it, I want to be able to do that in a timely manner. So he starts off by saying, no one thinks in a vacuum. Every time you have a thought, there is a biochemical reaction in the brain. You make a chemical. And as you'll learn, the brain then receives specific chemical signals to the body where they act as messengers of the thought. When the body gets these chemical messages from the brain, it complies instantly by initiating a matching set of reactions directly in alignment with what the brain is thinking. Then the body immediately sends a confirming message back up to the brain that it's now feeling exactly the way the brain is thinking. To understand this process, how you typically think equal to your body and how to form a new mind, you first need to appreciate the role that your brain and its chemistry plays in your life. In the last few decades, we've discovered that the brain and the rest of the body interact via powerful electrochemical signals. There is an extensive chemical factory between our ears that orchestrates a myriad of bodily function. Okay. All cells have their receptor sites on their exterior surface that receive information from outside their boundaries. When there is a match in chemistry frequency and electrical charge between a receptor site and an incoming signal from the outside, the cell gets turned on to perform certain tasks. So I want to show you guys the image there. Hopefully you can see that. You can see the different receptor sites that we're actually going to go into and talk about and get some definitions for. Okay, thank you guys for being here. I hope that you hit the like button. If you feel compelled to share it out, then please do. So we're going to talk about neurotransmitters, neuropeptides, and hormones. Okay, neurotransmitters, neuropeptides, and hormones are the cause and effect chemicals for brain activity and bodily functioning. These three different types of chemicals, called ligands, the word means to bind. Ligand means to bind in Latin. Connect to, interact with, or influence the cell in a matter of milliseconds. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that primarily send signals between nerve cells, allowing the brain and nervous system to communicate. There are different types of neurotransmitters, and each is responsible for a particular activity. Some excite the brain, others slow it down, while still others make us sleepy or awake. They can tell a neuron to unblock from its current connection or make it stick together to its present connection. They can even change the message as it is being sent to a neuron, rewriting it so that a different message is delivered to the connected nerve cells. Neuropeptides. The second type of ligand make up the majority of these messengers. Most are manufactured in a structure of the brain called the hypothalamus. These chemicals are passed through the pituitary gland, which then releases a chemical message to the body with specific instructions. As neuropeptides make their way through the bloodstream, they attach to the cells of the various tissue, primarily glands, and then turn on the third type of ligand, which is hormones, which further influence us to feel certain ways. Neuropeptides and hormones are the chemicals responsible for our feelings. For our purposes, think of neurotransmitters as chemical messengers, primarily from the brain and mind, neuropeptides as chemical signalers that serve as a bridge between the brain and the body to make us feel the way we think, and hormones as the chemicals related to feelings, primarily in the body. Now, the reason I'm going over this, guys, is because I feel like I think the reason he's including all of this in the book is because it's really important to understand the science behind how all of this works. You know, we're here on this channel, we're primarily here to change our lives for the better, right? And I think that things like understanding the neuroscience behind how all this stuff works, it helps me to believe that I can change my reality. It helps me to feel more strongly, like it's convincing me, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm learning these things and I'm like, this resonates, this makes sense. So that's why we're here and we're sharing the things that we're sharing here on the channel. Hey, Charlene, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming through, sis. I appreciate you. All right, so let's move on. So now we are on page 57, okay? So he's saying if you start to think about confronting your teenager, for example, if you start to think about confronting your teenager over the new dent in the car, your neurotransmitters would start the thought process in your brain to produce a specific level of mind. Your neuropeptides would chemically signal your body in a specific way, and you would begin to feel a bit riled up. As the peptides find their way to your adrenal glands, they would then be prompted to release the hormones, adrenaline, and cortisol. And now you are definitely feeling fired up. Chemically, your body is ready for battle. So we've talked about this next part, and we've talked about this quite a few times here on the channel, the thinking and feeling loop. And super dope concept. So as you think different thoughts, your brain circuits fire in corresponding sequences, patterns, and combinations, which then produce levels of mind equal to those thoughts. Once these specific networks of neurons are activated, the brain produces specific chemicals with the exact signature to match those thoughts that you so that you can feel the way you were just thinking. There's a certain synchronicity that takes place moment by moment between the brain and the body. In fact, as we begin to feel the way we're thinking, because the brain is in constant communication with the body, we begin to think the way we are feeling. The brain constantly monitors the way the body is feeling based on the chemical feedback it receives. It will generate more thoughts that produce chemicals corresponding to the way the body is feeling, so that we first begin to feel the way we think, and then to think the way we feel. So that's when he talks about that thought feeling loop, that just basically says if you start to feel a certain way, the thoughts come into your mind that confirm that, and then the thoughts confirm the feelings, and the feelings confirm the thoughts, and it's just a cycle. Years of thinking, we're on page 59 now, years of thinking certain thoughts and then feeling the same way and then thinking equal to those feelings is called a hamster wheel, creates a memorized state of being in which we can emphatically declare our I am statement as an absolute. That means we're now at the point when we define ourselves as the state of being. Our thoughts and feelings have merged. For example, we say, I've always been lazy. I'm an anxious person. I'm typically uncertain of myself. I have worthiness issues. I'm short tempered. I'm impatient. I'm really not that smart, and so on. And those particular memorized feelings contribute to all of our personality traits. And I know a lot of us can definitely relate to this. I know I can. In the past, I've been really good at pointing out my flaws and really wallowing in my flaws and saying, oh, I'm this and I'm that. And I know a lot of people that do that as well. So he gives us a warning here. When feelings become the means of thinking, or we cannot think greater than how we feel, we can never change. To change is to think greater than how we feel. To change is to act greater than the familiar feelings of the memorized self. It is to be greater than the body. So we're going to page 60, where he asks the question, does your mind control your body, or does your body control your mind? He says, why is it so hard to change? Imagine that your mother loved to suffer, and through long observation, you unconsciously saw that this behavior pattern enabled her to get what she wanted in life. Let's also say that you've had a few tough experiences in your own life, which created quite a bit of suffering for you. Those memories still elicit an emotional reaction centered around the specific person at a particular place at a certain time in your life. You've thought about the past often enough, and somehow those memories are easy to recall, even automatic. Now imagine that for more than 20 years, you've practiced thinking and thinking about suffering. Actually, you no longer need to think about the past event to create the feeling. You can't seem to think or act any other way than how you always feel. That's deep, because I know that I have experienced this myself. Hey Tia, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you, sis. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for hitting the like button. We're going over chapter 3 of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. This is a book written by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a neuroscientist and just an amazing master of quantum physics, brain chemistry, biology. And we're just doing this because we want to help to bridge the gap between neuroscience and the science part of science. Really is just the study of Earth, right? It's the study of everything that this Earth entails, us, the chemicals, the how things work and interact with each other. And so this is just our way to help bridge that gap, to really understand that there is a specific connection between the science part of it and why spirituality works the way it does. So this is just, to me, this is basic level spirituality. Like, if you don't believe that your brain chemicals and your genes work the way they do, if you don't believe that you can change your own mind, then spirituality is just kind of out the window. So personal note on that. So let's move on. We're on page 61 because this is a kind of a long chapter, so we gotta smooth run through this real quick. Okay, not real quick, but I'm just saying it's quite a bit to go over. You've memorized suffering by your recurrent thoughts and feelings, those related to that incident, as well as other events in your life. Your thoughts about yourself and your life tend to be colored by feelings of victimization and self-pity. Repeating those same thoughts and feelings you've counted for more than 20 years has conditioned your body to remember the feeling of suffering without much conscious thought. This seems so natural and so normal now. It's who you are, and anytime you try to change anything about yourself, it's like the road turns back on you. You're right back to your old self. And I know a lot of us have experienced this in our own lives when we try to change something, or we set goals, or we set, different things that we want to do. We end up just going right back to the things we're used to doing because it's easy. Our body is already trained to do these things or think this way. And this explains why it's a little bit challenging for some of us, but it doesn't mean that change isn't possible, right? It just means that we're just going over why it's a little bit challenging for some. Welcome in, babe. Thank you so much for coming through. My sweetheart is here, Mr. EC himself. I appreciate you guys being so supportive. All right, so we're still on page 61, where he says, we're capable of reliving a past event over and over, perhaps thousands of times in one lifetime. It's this unconscious repetition that trains the body to remember the emotional state equal to or better than the conscious mind does. When the body remembers better than the conscious mind, that is, when the body is the mind, that's called a habit. Psychologists tell us that by the time we're in our mid-30s, our identity and personality will be completely formed. This means that for those of us over 35, which I am, we have memorized a select set of behaviors, attitudes, beliefs, emotions, reactions, habits, skills, associative memories, conditioned responses, and perceptions that are now subconsciously programmed within us. Those programs are running us because the body has become the mind. Take, for example, a mother driving a minivan to drop her kids off at school. How is she able to navigate traffic, break up arguments, drink coffee, shift gears, help her son blow his nose all at once? Much like a computer program, these actions have been automatic functions that can run very fluidly and easily. Mom's body is skillfully doing everything because it's memorized how to do these things through much repetition. She no longer has any conscious thought about how she does them. They're habitual. Think about that. 5% of the mind is conscious, struggling against 95% that is running unconscious automatic programs. We've memorized a set of behaviors so that we have become an automatic habitual body mind. In fact, When the body has memorized a thought, action, or feeling to the extent to that the body is the mind, when the mind and body are one, we in a state of being the memory of ourselves. And if 95% of who we are by the age 35 is a set of involuntary or involuntary programs, memorized behaviors, and habitual emotional reactions, it follows that 95% of our day we are unconscious. We only appear to be awake. Yikes. That is deep. That is deep, deep, deep. Okay. So on page 64, we're going to talk about when the servant becomes the master. In truth, the body is the servant of the mind. It follows that the body has become the mind. The servant has become the master. In the former, master, the conscious mind, has gone to sleep. The mind might think it's still in charge, but the body is influencing decisions equal to its memorized emotions. Now, let's say that the mind wants to get back in control. That's what we're doing now. I'm not saying you, but that's what I'm doing. I'm in a place where I am reconnecting with my awareness, right? You're wanting your mind to be back in control and making more conscious decisions and not just subconscious, allowing the body to control you, right? um so let's say the mind wants to get back in control. What do you think the body is going to say? Where have you been? Go back to sleep. I've got it together here. You don't have the will, the persistence, or the awareness to do what I've been doing all this time. While you were unconsciously following my orders, I even modified my receptor sites over years in order to serve you better. You thought you were running things while I've been influencing you all along and urging you to make all the decisions equal to what feels right and familiar. So it's deep because a lot of us, like, and I know some of this might feel like, okay, but if you really get into this reading, if you really get into it, you'll be able to, it might feel familiar to you. It might resonate with you. I don't think that applies to all of us. Which part, Charlene? It is an interesting observation. Hey, Kiana, thank you so much for coming through, sis. Hey, Ken, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, please share with us what you're thinking, Charlene. I definitely want to know which parts you're talking about. And when the 5% that is conscious is going against the 95% that is running subconscious automatic programs, the 95% is so reflective that it only takes one stay thought or single stimulus from the environment to turn on the automatic program again. So for those just coming in, let me just share with you guys, we are going over chapter 3. If you didn't see chapters 1 and 2, the overview for those, you can definitely catch that on replay. We've already gone through that. Unawake all day. Oh, so this is the thing, Charlene. So what he's saying is that science has proven, right? Science changes. So if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. But I think what he's saying is that subconsciously 95% runs the things that we do. So it's not to say, oh, you're unawake or, you're asleep, you need awareness. It's to say that our subconscious mind is running our everyday habits. It doesn't mean those habits are negative. It doesn't mean those habits are bad for us. So I know what you're saying, like nah, you're like, not all of us are unaware. That's true. That's true. But it's just a matter of what your subconscious mind is trained to do. Is your subconscious mind trained to do the things that you want it to do? Is it fueling you and pushing you towards your journey? Or are you just going through the motions? So, because I think that a lot of us A lot of us are just going through the motions. Like we're doing what our mom want us to do. We're doing what social media tells us to do. We're just following. We're keeping up with the Joneses type stuff. So that's different. So I get what you're saying, and a lot of us are more aware. A lot of us are making conscious choices, but what he's saying for those of us like reading this book and trying to make changes subconsciously, he's just setting up the scene to where he's saying a lot of us are asleep. A lot of us are, I just said it, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I get that. Yeah, see, I knew you would because it's my girl. So yeah, where was I? um We are on page 64 for those of you who have this wonderful book. Thank you all for coming in. I hope you guys have taken time to hit the like button. Let me get my own like button. Bam. And I hope you're enjoying the reading. Okay, so let's get back to it. Where was I? The same. Okay, so I'm gonna just start back right here. And when the 5%, because this is just what me and Charlene were just talking about, and when the 5% that is conscious is going against the 95% that is running subconscious automatic programs, the 95% is so reflexive that it only takes one stray thought or a single stimulus from the environment to turn on the automatic program again. Then we're back to the same old, thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, but expecting something different to happen in our lives. So this really is for those of us who are trying to change our lives for the better, and trying to grow and become more aware and become more conscious. When we try to regain control, this is when the body signals the brain to begin talking us out of our conscious goals. Our internal chatter comes up with a battery of reasons why we should not attempt to do anything out of the ordinary, not break out of the habitual state of being that we're used to. It will pick up all of our weaknesses, which it knows and fosters, and hurl them at us one by one. And I gotta say, I have experienced this since I've been on this journey of just wanting to meditate more, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat right, wanting to gain weight and do things that I think are more healthy for my body. I've been able to do a lot of it, but a lot of it, it kind of goes back and forth sometimes. So it's all part of the journey and I'm enjoying it. But I get what he's saying right here. Like there's so many subconscious beliefs that come up to where it feels discouraging at times because in my mind, I keep getting thoughts like that say I'm not worthy or I can't do it. Okay, let me see what Kiana's saying. A lot of us are going through the motions. We are trained that way from our youth. Yeah, and that's the thing, Kiana. That's why we're here and we're sharing this because I'm trying to share with everyone that change is possible. You can refire and rewire your brain cells and change your subconscious mind on purpose. That's what we're here doing. So it's good to have that realization that, oh man, like I'm just on a hamster wheel. Like I'm just really doing the same things over and over every day. I'm not changing my life for the better. I'm just going to work or feeding the kids or, doing this and that. But I'd like to do more. If you'd like to do more, put a 1 in the chat right now. If you agree with what I'm saying, that you'd like to do more, you want to change your own mind. It starts with changing your mind. We can do all the manifestation methods and all this other stuff that we want, but if we don't change our mind, we won't change our habits, and if we don't change our habits, we won't change our reality. So that's what we're getting to right now. So yeah, I'm seeing some ones coming through. I'm gonna put a 1 in here. I'm on my other channel, but that's me. I'm putting a 1 because baby, hold on real quick. I want to do one thing. Bear with me, guys. Real quick. Bear with me. All right, there we go. All is right. Okay, so we're on page 65 now. So let's move on because we have a lot to cover in this chapter. So we're talking about entering into the subconscious mind to change it. The subconscious mind only knows what you have programmed it to do. And I'm going to say I don't necessarily agree with that because I know that there are people, we've been trained by this, by the radio, the newspapers early on. I know recently I was watching some documentaries about how Coca-Cola and these different big name Nestle, these big name companies have really done the most to program people to drink, to get their products, drink their soda. They used to put cocoa leaf in. I know you guys have heard about this in Coca-Cola, which is cocaine, and is, part of cocaine. So it's like there's so, I don't necessarily agree that the subconscious mind only knows what you have programmed it to do, because I think we've allowed other people to program us. Okay, but change is coming. Okay, have you ever been trying, or I'm sorry, have you ever been typing along on your laptop and all of a sudden your computer starts running an automatic program that you have no control over? When you try to use the conscious mind to stop the automatic subconscious program stored in your body, it's like yelling at a computer that's gone rogue. With several programs running while windows are popping up and showing more than you can handle. Hey, stop that. The computer isn't even going to register that. It's going to keep doing what it does until there is some sort of intervention, until you get into its operating system and change some settings. In this book, you'll learn how to get into the subconscious mind and reprogram it with a new set of strategies. In effect, you have to deprogram it or unwire your old thinking and feeling patterns and then reprogram or rewire your brain with new patterns of thinking and feeling based on who you want to be instead. So, this is about purposely changing our own reality. Yes, there is always room for growth. And that's I think that as long as I'm breathing, that's how I will feel. I continuously want to learn. I continuously want to grow. And I feel that that's what we're here for as human beings on this planet. That's what we were meant to come here and do. That's what I feel. We were meant to go and get different raw materials and burn them or put them in water, put them in different chemicals and mix them with this and that and create all that we've created. I really feel that expansion is what we're here for. And not just to do that on a physical level, but on a mental level as well. And that means doing what we're doing. So, hey, King, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming through. I'm going to slap your circuit straight. Nightbot in here tripping. We're going to have to do something about him. One of my mods, if you would, if Nightbot start tripping, just block him. I'll figure it out later. Hey, Lexi, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for coming through, Lexi. That's my sister from another mister. All right. We are talking about, for those of you just coming in, we're doing chapter 3 overview of breaking the habit of being yourself. Guys, this is an amazing read. It is a lot. Like, it is, look at the writing on here, guys. It's so small. And the book is pretty hefty, but I've read the book. I love it so much. And that's why we're going over it, is I just had to share this with you. The next one we're going to go through is right over there, that book right there, You Are the Placebo. That one is by Dr. Joe as well. So we have 3 of his books. I have 3 of his books so far, and I've just bought another one yesterday because I cannot help myself. The Goat, thank you so much for coming through. Is that my cousin? Is that you, cousin? You're the only one I can think of that would have that. If that's you, John, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming through. Our brains are like computers, so we all have some type of programming. Exactly. And that's the thing, like we can take over and program our minds ourselves. So we don't have to just do, by default. And so that's what we're here doing. I think that's my cousin. Yes, it is. What's up, cousin? Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the super chat or super sticker. Aw, don't get me in my feelings. Stop distracting me, cousin. No, but welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you hit the like button and that you are enjoying the reading. So let's get back into it. Let's get back into it. Fam is in the building. All right. So the next part, we are on page 70. Y'all know I'll be trying not to wear my glasses. They right here, but I don't want to wear them. Okay. So, Cuzzo, everybody that's new, that's just walking in, we're on chapter 3 of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I think I just said that. Let's go. So, page 70, we're talking about the fact that help is only a thought away. The next step in breaking the habit of being ourselves is understanding how important it is to get the mind and the body working together and to break the chemical continuity of our guilty, ashamed, angry, depressed state of being. Resisting the body's demand to restore that old unhealthy order isn't easy, but help is only a thought away. The good news is that we can become consciously aware of these tendencies. I'll do more with this concept in the pages ahead. For now, I hope that you can accept that to change your personality, you need to change your state of being, which is intimately connected to the feelings that you've memorized. Just as negative emotions can become embedded in the operating system of your subconscious, so can positive ones. And that's what me and Charlene was just talking about. Like it really is a matter of you taking control of what your subconscious mind is thinking and feeling. Okay. So by definition, Busy Mama, thank you so much for coming through. Welcome in. Welcome in, sis. Thank you guys. What is that notification? Okay. So we're on chapter 3 of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. We are on chapter 71 and Frugal. I still have not got confirmation from you, sis, if you got the book that I sent you. So if you did, please let me know. If you haven't checked the mailbox yet, I get it, but I just want to know if I need to request a refund and reorder it for you because I want you to have this book. So let's move on to 71, where we're talking about memorized feelings limiting us to recreate the past. By definitions, emotions are the end products of a past experience in life. When you're in the midst of an experience, the brain receives vital information from the external environment through 5 different sensory pathways: sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. As the cumulative sensory data reaches the brain and is processed, networks of neurons arrange themselves into specific patterns, reflecting the external event. The moment those nerve cells string into place, the brain releases chemicals. Those chemicals are called emotions or a feeling. Okay. You know that when you repeatedly recreate the same emotions until you cannot think any greater than how you feel, your feelings are now the means of your thinking. And since your feelings are a record of the previous experiences, you're thinking in the past. And by quantum law, you create more of the past. All right. Accomplishing this about face is the great labor of personal change. So many people struggle to create a new destiny, but find themselves unable to overcome the past memory of who they feel they are. That is so deep because I I can relate to this book so much. Like it's like he's talking about my life. Um, because, and I think a lot of us start to feel like a little bit of imposter syndrome. And I know Wellness with Frugal Mama and Busy Mama just did a whole segment on imposter syndrome recently, to where it is just, you start to feel like an imposter because you are trying to change. You do want to be better. You do want to be different. You do want to be to grow, and your mind, that ego mind or subconscious mind, keeps telling you you can't do this. You're acting out of character. You're trying to act brand new. You're trying to be something you're not. And it's like, yeah, you're right. I'm trying to be something I'm not. That's the point of change. That growth. I wasn't it before. I'm not it now, but that's what I want to be, and that's what I deserve to be, right? So it's deep because, oh, you did get it. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, I feel relieved. But yeah, it's so crazy because your body, your body mind, as Dr. Joe says, is starting to tell you like, nah, back up. Don't do nothing new. Don't do anything that's not what we're used to, because it's afraid of the unknown. Is really all it is. Um, so that's crazy. Okay. Even if we crave, I'm on page 73. Even if we crave unknown adventures and dream of new possibilities ahead into the future, we seem to be compelled to revisit the past. Oh, Sita, that's John, the goat. John is in here, cousin. John, you see Sita? That's Pop Rocks. Okay, they don't know each other on YouTube. um, Feelings and emotions are not bad. They are the end products of experience. But if we always relive the same ones, we can't embrace any new experiences. Sorry, guys. Have you known people who always seem to talk about the good old days? What they're really saying is, nothing new is happening in my life to stimulate my feelings. Therefore, I have to reaffirm myself from some glorious moments in the past. If we believe that our thoughts have something to do with our destiny, then as creators, most of us are only going in circles. Another major aspect of breaking this habit has to do with our physical health. Certainly, in the hierarchy of things that most of us want to change about our lives, health issues rank way up there. And when it comes to what we'd like to change about our health, there is one set of dogmas that we are going to have to examine and dispel: the myth that genes create disease and the fallacy of genetic determinism. This is something I grew up thinking. I grew up thinking that, based on what my mom went through, because I didn't really know my dad in his later years to know what he went through physically. But based on my mom and my aunts, I believe that genes would have something to do with the things that I experience. And so it's not a surprise to me that now I'm blind in one eye. Like right now I am, because of course I can get surgery, but my mom was blind in one eye. And at times my hips have been hurting, and my mom had to have hip replacement surgery. So these types of things, it's not really a surprise now that I'm learning this, that I thought those things were natural to happen to me, and that they did, to some degree. So that's a trip. That's a trip. Um, I'm sorry, I keep losing my place when I start to talk. um, Okay, and when it comes to what we'd like to change about our health, I said that already. There's one set of dogmas that we're going to have to examine and dispel: the myth that genes create disease and the fallacy of genetic determinism. We will also look at a scientific understanding that may be new to you called epigenetics, the control of genes from outside the cell, and more precisely, the study of changes in gene function that occur without a change in DNA sequence. All right. Let's see. Okay, we already went over that. Sorry, I do have my notes here kind of telling me what pages to go through. Because I have my little marks here. So now we are on page 78. He says epigenetics empowers us to think about change more profoundly. The epigenetic paradigm shift gives us free will to activate our own gene activity and modify our genetic destiny. For the sake of example and simplification, when I talk about activating a gene by expressing it in different ways, I will refer to turning it on. In reality, genes don't turn on and off. They're activated by chemical signals, and they express themselves in specific ways by making various proteins. Just by changing our thoughts, feelings, emotional reactions, and behaviors, for example, making healthier lifestyle choices with regard to nutrition and stress level, we send ourselves new signals and they express new proteins without changing the genetic blueprint. So while the DNA code stays the same, once a cell is activated in a new way by new information, the cell can create thousands of variations of the same gene. We can signal our genes to rewrite our future. Okay. And that's exactly what we are here to do. We want to create our own reality. Where am I? Okay. 17. We are way past my notes. Yeah. Okay, so I do want to read this part. It says, changing your body, why lift a finger? This is super, super deep right here. So we may believe that we can change our brains by thinking, but what effects, if any, will this have on the body? Through the simple process of mentally rehearsing an activity, we can drive great benefits without lifting a finger. Here's an example of how that literally happened. As described in an article published in 1992, the Journal of Neurophysiology, subjects were divided into three groups. The first group was asked to exercise by contracting and relaxing one finger on their left hand for 5 1-hour training sessions per week for 4 weeks. A second group mentally rehearsed the same exercise on the same timetable without physically activating any muscles in the finger. People in a control group exercise neither their fingers nor their mind. So they're doing this study and pitting one against the other. At the end of the study, the scientists compared the findings. The first set of participants had their finger strength tested against the control group. It's a no-brainer. The group who did the actual exercise exhibited 30% greater finger strength than those in the control group. We all know that if we repeatedly put a load on a muscle, we will increase the strength on that muscle, of that muscle. What we probably wouldn't anticipate is that the group who mentally rehearsed the exercises demonstrated a 22% increase in muscle strength. The mind then produced a quantifiable physical effect on the body. In other words, the body changed without having a physical experience. And that's crazy because I've actually told someone in my family that this, because I heard about this through like a YouTube video or something that I watched. And I told her to visually exercise in her mind and see what starts to happen. And she did it and she started to lose weight. So it's crazy how powerful the mind is, right, Charlene? That is just it's so fun. It's so fun. When you have thoughtfully rehearsed a future reality until your brain has physically changed to look like it has the experience, and you have emotionally embraced the new intention so many times that your body is altered to reflect that it has had the experience, hang on, because this is the moment that the event finds you. And it will arrive in a way that you least expect. which leaves no doubt that it came from your relationship to a greater consciousness so that it inspires you to do it again and again. Deep, 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 deep stuff. And this is, yeah, for real, Lexi. Oh, Lexi, you are so amazing. I love you so much. But yeah, so that's, I really want to do a visualization challenge again with you guys. I think we kind of started it, but your girl got distracted or just got off kilter with it. So we really didn't finish it or go through it like that. But I want to do some visualization challenges. So let me know if you guys are down. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are down to do some visualization challenges. Idea. I'm going to start working on my belly from my mind. Thanks for the spark. Yeah, I'm visualizing that workout tonight. Girl, do it. Do it. Like, and I want you guys, I'm telling y'all, I want you guys to come onto the platform and share your experiences once we do some of these visualizations. So if you guys are down to do it, we can all pick a totally different thing and just see, we'll come and we'll discuss our findings after we do it for like a month or so. We will go ahead and come together and discuss our findings. That'll be really fun. So that's actually it. That went faster than I thought it was gonna go. Because chapter 3 again was a pretty long chapter. The next chapter, chapter 4, is overcoming time. That's going to be a good one. Again, I've already read this book, and it is a good one. But we're going to go through that. Probably today's Monday. We'll probably do it on Friday because I'm so behind on some of this stuff. I really would like to get a little bit more in tune with time and use it a little bit more wisely and really be on my shit. So I appreciate all the members. Thank you, Lexi, BDBGP, Frugal Mama, One Busy Mama, all the members that showed up today. You guys are so dope. I appreciate you so much because you guys are sticking with me on a monetarily basis. Cuzzo, thank you for the super chat, or super sticker, whichever it was. I'm so grateful. I'm so super grateful for each and every minute watched, each and every like, the shares, the comments. It's such an amazing feeling to have the support, even when I don't feel like I deserve it sometimes, because quite honestly, since I'm not as consistent on the channel as I'd like to be sometimes because I'm working so much right now. That is a priority because I have some things that financially that I want to accomplish. And so I appreciate you guys being there supporting financially, physically by coming, spending your valuable time on a Monday to come hang out with your girl and go over this book and just everything. I appreciate it all. And, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it because we're really growing. The channel is growing at a pretty decent rate, and this is still only the beginning. We're almost to 3,500 subscribers, gang members, and I'm just super excited to be on this journey with you guys. I can't even say how excited I am. So we are going to start this visualization challenge. Let's start it soon. Let's start it mid-January-ish. Okay, so I'll put it on the community tab if you want to be a part of it. And then we will come together mid-February and maybe we'll discuss. You don't have to come up on the panel if you are not into that. You can just share in the comment section, or you can turn off your camera, whatever you wanted to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I do want to do this challenge together and share it because I think it's important that we share these things and let people know that change is possible. That's the only reason I shared with you guys my pay. I don't know, some of you guys probably didn't see it, but I had these little stacks of money that I make from my job, because since I'm a server now, I get cash for tips, right? And I was sharing with you guys that in April, I was working for Aetna. I was doing a corporate job still. I was making a little bit of a little bit of money. I'm not gonna say it's a little bit of money. It was good for what it was right then, but I knew that I wanted to make more money. It wasn't enough to pay my bills and stuff. And since I've been serving, I have been having a lot of fun. Okay, I'm sorry. In April, I said I wanted to have fun. I wanted to do what I wanted to, the things I wanted to do to make money. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be fulfilling. And I wanted to feel like I was making my worth, like I was earning my money, right? Like I was being paid my worth. And now I'm there. I do work a lot because I'm working two serving jobs, but like I said, I have some goals that I'm reaching, and I'm making double what I was making in 40 hours. I'm making that in 20, 30. I'm making double that in 20 or 30 hours. And so God has really showed up and showed me that if you change your mindset, if you change what you think is possible for yourself, you can have it. There isn't anything I can't get. There isn't anything that I can't attain. And so that's where my mindset is starting to really flow towards, and it's being proven. And that's why I share that on my community tab. So I hope that it wasn't so that, and not to discredit everybody's comments or whatever, but some people was like, "Oh, I'm happy for you." And it's like, don't be happy for me yet, because this is still just the beginning. Like, I'm grateful for the comments. I'm not saying it like that, but it was not for people to be happy for me. It was to show that they can do it too. Like that I'm not special. And I always talk about Tabitha Brown. She's still doing the most. She just launched another line of food and all kinds of stuff. Like, she's doing the most, but she was driving Uber 5 years ago. So it might be 6 years ago now. But I'm just saying, like, things change. You can change as long as you change your mindset. It comes from the things that we think are possible, because the things that we think make us feel, and the things that we feel make us think. And that's how we attract into our lives. And so it's all about what you think and feel you're capable of. And so that's why we're sharing these things. That's why we're going to continue to share it and promote growth and happiness throughout the world. So anyway, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. I love you guys. I'm so grateful that you came to the live today. I hope that you really enjoyed the reading, because that's the point. It's not just to get likes and clicks and stuff like that. It's really, really to share this knowledge with you guys. And so look forward to another live. We're going to do chapter 4 near the end of the week. You guys know I just pop up on you. I don't even knock. I don't even I just open the door and be in your house. I don't even really give you guys any notice. So it is what it is. You guys have been so great. So that's the end of the live. I love you all for no reason at all. I'll see you next time.